Brotherhood League. What is up? It's your host with the most, Coach Ty, coming to you with, it would be episode number 18, but we're going to go ahead and kind of call this episode 1. It's kind of a new season in League 1, Season 3. Today, this show will be all about League 2. I had a couple of fellas ask me, Coach Ty, come to the show League 2, no love. And I said, well, we have playoffs and some other things going on. Season 1 is nothing of note going on. We all had the draft. We're getting ready to kick that season off Monday. We'll get back to some League 1 stuff in future shows. This show, I still want to discuss League 2 of Madden Brotherhood League. Basically, we have a lot of the top guys from League 1 playing in League 2. And we have a lot of good new guys. WFH Honey Badger, WFH X-Ray. Those are names that kind of just immediately jump to mind in terms of new guys that I've played that I feel have something good to contribute to the league. Vic Timms, his record may not show, but he's a good player. So League 2 is allowed to get some new blood into the league, some new players, and it's interesting. It's a fantasy league, as everyone knows. We had a 55-round draft. Everyone got to select pretty much the players they wanted if you were present in the draft. 6-minute quarters, all Madden setting, and there's been a lot of controversy. On one end, you have a lot of folks that enjoy the fact that it's a fantasy league and they like that aspect of it, and some folks are doing well. And on the other end, you have a lot of folks that don't necessarily like it. They think that 6-minute quarters is too long. They think that the all-Madden setting has made it very difficult to play defense. Some of the complaints I've heard are excessive drop passes, the lack of ability to ball hawk, the lack of ability to play consistent defense, the lack of the ability to tackle people, especially running backs. So due to those reasons, a lot of people are kind of down on League 2. So I figured right now we're about the halfway point in League 2. We have some good things, some good stories going on. But I figured since we're a little bit over halfway, it'd be a good show to bring in the League 2 Commissioner, Mark Gates. He's been pretty quiet in the chat. He plays in both leagues. He runs League 2. Kind of wanted to bring him in and give him a chance to address the league in terms of what's going on with the league, why the settings are the way they are, and basically answer anybody's questions that have any questions about League 2. So in a short while, we will have Mark Gates, League 2 Commissioner, on. In the interim, let's talk about some of the good things in the league. Right now, we have 3 undefeateds. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coached by Buffalo Sam. I played them. They're a very high-powered, explosive offensive team. Wide receivers A.J. Green, Julio Jones, Stephen Hill, and Michael Floyd. They are quarterbacked by Terrell Pryor, and basically, it's a track meet when you play Tampa Bay. They're good for 50 to 60 points a game. Buffalo Sam has no qualms trying to put 80 up on you, and he'll let you know it in a minute. You got to stop him. We have the 9-0 Atlanta Falcons, coached by Shy Tuff. They, too, have a pretty high-powered offense, led by Darius Haywood-Bay, amongst the league leaders in receiving. They're coached by Shy Tuff. They also have, I believe, the league's second or third best defense overall. So he will be a good guy to speak to today. I don't think we'll hear from him, but he will be a good guy to speak to about what's going on. We also have the Green Bay Packers, coached by our engineer on the show today, Coach Reggie. Reggie's 9-0. And what I find funny about Reggie's 9-0 is all the talk is about Buffalo Sam's 9-0 Buccaneers. There's some talk about Shy Tuff's 9-0 Falcons. But my guy, Coach Reggie, hasn't gotten any press, any play, or any props whatsoever, and that man is 9-0. Reggie's going to do what Reggie does. Reggie plays a balanced game. Reggie likes to run the rock, but recently Reggie has labbed up a pretty nice passing game. He had a pretty nice win over Fogras. It was an exciting 33-31 game, and he's rolling 9-0. Out of the top 10 teams in the power rankings, 7 of the 10 teams are NFC-based teams. My team, the New York Giants, being one of them, so I'm pretty happy about that. It's been a good response so far for folks playing games. I am noticing it's starting to slow down a little bit. Nothing major, but a little bit. In the beginning of the season, pretty much everybody had their games done in about a day, maybe 2. As we went on, it's taken a little bit longer to play games, so for the most part, a lot of folks are still playing their games. So There's a lot of interesting races. There's a lot of great offensive staff. And at this time, I would like to bring on the commissioner of Mag Brotherhood League 2, Mark Gates. Mark Gates will be joining us now. Mark Gates, are you there?
Yeah, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. How you doing today?
I'm good, man.
Good. So, Commissioner, the reason why I wanted you to come on the show today was Mag Brotherhood League 2. I wanted to devote this show just to talk about League 2. League 2 has been entertaining, a fantasy-based league. There's been great participation. There's been a lot of offense. There's a lot of nice star-studded teams out there. We have 3 undefeated teams, and there's some good things going on. However, in the chats of both leagues, there's been constant grumblings about things about League 2 that owners don't like. There's been issues that owners have had, and I've constantly heard this probably now for about a month, so I figured what better way than to bring on a commissioner. Because, Commissioner, I know you've been a little quiet lately. I know you got a lot of things going on personally with work and school, and I also know that you consciously made a decision out of the chat boxes. So I figured I wanted to bring you on to kind of talk about some of these things, address these things, and if we have anybody that wants to call in and speak to you directly or ask you any questions, they're more than welcome. So, for starters, Mark, I guess my first question would be, how do you think everything's going with League 2 so far?
So far it's been great. Guys are knocking out the schedule pretty quick. There's no problems or things like that, aside from, like you said, the little grumbling, but they never really come to me. That stuff always goes to the chat. And then, like, when I send out messages for feedback and things like that, I only get like 4 or 5 responses, so it's hard for me to make a decision or opinion when everybody's not putting their feedback, towards me. It's basically going towards the chat, and I'm never really in the chat. Like, I'm open up, my cell phone's open, my email's open, text me, call me directly, I answer, so there's no reason for you to just jump straight onto the chat when I extended myself to everybody, so.
I would agree with that. Would you care to elaborate on why you have chosen to distance yourself from the chat?
Just for a lot of the little bickering and stuff, and then just my time, man. I just have so much going on personally. I can't even really be in the chat. So it's a combination of both things. I feel like, we grown, man. You shouldn't have to go to the chat to air out any issues and things like that. If there's a problem, just call me, man. We can talk it out, work it out, make a decision. I always hit other people back for feedback and their opinion. It's never like I just base my opinion on an instant reaction. I talk it out with other various owners, and we try to settle it, and I try to be fair all the way across the board. So,
before we get into more League 2 chat, I want to get into something about you personally. And the reason I want to is because I think it's very interesting. A lot of people don't know, and they may be interested to know. You have an interesting job that you're working right now. Would you care to elaborate to the fans out there, or the folks, I don't want to say fans, the folks out there, what it is you do for work? And I'm not talking about work.
Right now I'm shooting a television show, so that's been really more focused on my time. I'm producing and casting director on one, and then I'm actually going to be directing another one with a buddy of mine. We're going to be directing a television show. So one is doing real well right now, then another one is possibly going national, so doing a lot of different things.
Do you care to elaborate on the title of the show and what the show's about and where folks can watch if they're interested in watching?
Oh, yeah, right now it's called Brotherhood of Silver. It's majority on, like to call it the East Coast, a little local station, but it hits like 3 million homes. Philly, Delaware, Jersey area right now, but in April we'll go national on a channel called Bounce. And then when that time comes, I'll just blast the channels and everybody can check it out. It's pretty much, just to give you a brief summary, it's like a Training Day spin with a little bit of Law and Order and New York Undercover kind of all melted into one, with a little street edge, kind of like The Wire in the corner, things like that. So.
And how did you come into this break? What opportunity was presented to you that you was able to do this? Because it definitely is something I'd like to check out. It's definitely something cool that I think one of our own is making big moves. I mean, yeah, we do this for fun in terms of playing Madden, and we have the sites, and we recognize certain people for being good ballers, but at the end of the day, it's a game. And when you find out one of your own is somebody you talk to is actually a producer and director on a show that may be going national, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man, thanks. Yeah, it was just really pretty much a who you know thing. It's like, they always say life is who you know, not really what you know. And that's kind of how it fell on my plate and my lap at the time. So It was a buddy I knew. He was an actor in the show and also a producer, and introduced me to the creator. And me and him sat down, we chopped it up. Had a great conversation. He brought me on board, and everything just went full steam ahead from there. So,
very, very interesting. And for those who don't know, Gates is actually IT person. That's information technology. For those who ain't very savvy, in other words, he's those tech guys that deal with all types of computer-related issues, computer coding, things of that nature. Which is why he is the guy a lot of times that's behind doing things on the site, because it's second nature to him. For those who don't know. So, that being said, getting back to League Two, I'm just going to bring to your attention some of the things that I've heard other owners discuss as things that they felt were issues are problematic, and I'm going to lay them out there, and I'm going to allow you to give your take on either A, why it is the way it is, or B, what can be done about it, or C, what's your opinion.
Let's address them one at a time.
Exactly. Okay, so the first things first. One of the biggest issues and complaints that I've heard from the masses about the league is definitely the all Madden setting. Could you let's break this thing down? Could you elaborate? Because you talked about this in length. What the difference is between the all Madden setting and the all pro setting in terms of gameplay? Let's start right there.
The difference is the advantage goes to the computer versus the user. When you switch it over like that, you're automatically at a disadvantage. It's geared to like what they call elite players and things like that, but it's not really geared to that. If you notice, everything is down versus the user. But if you hike the ball and just let the computer maneuver everything, it's a total different game of domination. So when that was created, me and Mike had a discussion, and he was like, "Let's put it on all Madden." And I'm like, "Well, if we do that, these are the things that's going to happen, and are you ready for those things to happen?" He's like, "Yeah, let's see how it goes, and it's a switch up for a pace and things like that from the first one, and we'll just see how it goes." And we did that, and it's funny because when I addressed the issue early, like 5 people gave me a response back. So it's hard for me to make a decision off five people when it's 32 in the whole league. So at this point, I just pretty much decided to just keep it the same, and then we'll address it again during the off season. Most likely change the sliders and see how it goes from there. But that's all based on feedback. It's hard for me to just say, I don't want to seem like a tyrant and just pick one way when everybody else is feeling another way. So,
what would you say to somebody right now that was to call in and say, "Well, why don't you change the sliders right now?" Could you explain how that would affect the league settings in the game? Because a lot of people understand that it's not as simple as going in and adjusting a slider. So could you explain how that would affect the league if you was to go in right now and maneuver or adjust the sliders?
Yeah, like say for example, the way it's now is everybody's on the same playing field. Whether you have a superstar roster or you don't have a superstar roster, it's all even. Versus if we change it, then you'll start to see those things change, and then the teams that are possibly undefeated, they won't be undefeated. It changes dramatically. Players, ratings, and things like that. Versus now, where it's like a straight, clean. Everybody's capped off at one level, and then you just play to your best of your user ability. So to do that, it'll be, it's kind of chaotic to do that, especially for the people who've been dominating so far. They've made the adjustment and dealt with it and figured out a way to win, and others haven't. So we just gotta find that balance until the off season.
Fair enough. Now, we've tackled on Madden. Another thing that I've heard, especially, let's talk about, I would say the lack of defense. That's a big thing I've heard. I've experienced some of it personally myself as well, in terms of it being very difficult to tackle a running back, very difficult to tackle someone in the open field, the inability to user pick the ball, the neutralization of ball hawk, and basically an overall inability to play defense. What would you say to the people who complain that that's a big issue in the league?
Don't click on the person to make the play. Honestly, by default, when you do that, like if you throw it and I go pick it, you turn your user turns to 25. The sliders just automatically 25 versus if you just let the computer do it set at 75. You know what I mean? So that's why everything that happens is broken tackles and things of that nature. You just have to understand how the technology of it works. you can't ball hawk if your number's set at 25 and the computer's catching is set at 75. There's a 50-point AI margin in the game, so it's hard to come across that.
I want to clarify what you just said right there, just to make sure everybody understands this. What the commission is basically saying is that on all Madden, the way the sliders are currently set, the human user, which is yourself, is set at 25%, whereas the computer CPU-controlled player is at 75%. So if I'm trying to make a one-on-one open tackle on Felix Jones and I'm at 25% and he's at 75%, of course I'm going to get stiff-armed. Of course I'm going to get ran over. Of course he's going to bust through me like I'm not there. A good piece of advice he just said that I would recommend, and it's something I've been doing my last few games in all Madden. It's something I've really been researching. A lot of us are hardwired on All-Pro to make user plays. We're hardwired to ball hawk. We're hardwired to control the outcome of the game. We're hardwired to shoot the gap. That's fine on All-Pro. On all Madden, because you're at a 50% disadvantage, what I have been doing is I'll maneuver my guys into position and then click off. Remember, computers at 75, us as humans, we're at 25. Instead of me shooting the gap and trying to rack up the running back myself, I'm moving my linebacker into position to make the tackle, and then I'm pressing circle and click off. Because now my computer-controlled player is at the same 75% as Felix Jones, and I have a much better chance of success. So that's just to elaborate on what Mr. Gates is saying. Now, with that being said, since we've addressed the quote-unquote lack of defense, another issue that I've heard from quite a few folks is, hey, 6 minutes a quarter is entirely way too long to play. The games are long and drug out. You can't stop anybody. And now there's an extra 4 minutes in the game, do an extra minute each quarter. What's up with that? So what is your take on the 6-minute quarters?
At this point of the game, it's funny because in League 2, yes, I think it's too long because we're at the point where you're frustrated on defense because you've been dominated totally by the computer. It is long and drawn. Versus if you added another minute in League 1, the opportunity for teams who've been losing by points, they felt like they didn't have enough time to come back. So at this point, I say I agree. I mean, there's been times where it's like I said, I've been dominated. Like my record isn't that great, and I've just been myself. Like I just pick whoever I pick on D, and I just stay with that guy. Let the computer do everything else. And it's times where it's like, damn, this game is long and drawn out. Versus when I'm on League 1, I'm fighting to come back, and it's like, oh, I wish I had another minute to come back. I mean, it's just the fun factor there. So, if people want to go to 5 minutes, that's fine. You can go to 5 minutes. We can play 6 minutes. I'm totally fine with whatever the general masses does. And we'll see the difference, especially if we either make the decision to adjust the sliders, because the game becomes almost then all pro, even though it's set in all Madden, and you'll see the bigger difference of that minute, where you wish you had that minute to try to come back or correct the wrongs that you made early in the first half and things of that nature. So, like I said, everything in my view on this league is it's our league, but it's hard for me to make our decisions when it's not even enough of us, not even half of us giving feedback. You know what I mean?
Why do you think, let me ask you this, and I really can't figure it out either. Why do you think, in my opinion, the perception exists that League 1 is the greatest thing to ever happen to Madden, and League 2 is something you scrape off the bottom of your shoe? I've heard this talk and this opinion this season, and I heard it last season. Why do you think there's such a divide between both leagues? What is different? I mean, and obviously, okay, we can say the settings. We've already discussed that, know that. But I guess the reason why I'm asking this is I have seen you make the effort to put polls out. I have seen you make the effort to talk to people individually. You're not getting the feedback. You're not getting the contributions. What is it going to take to get to a level and a place where people are contributing in the chat box in League 2, where people are contributing? Right. I like the fact that Honey Badger is putting up some videos, but the chat in League 2 has been dead for 2 seasons. You right. Can't get people to respond on polls. 2-part question. 1, what is it going to take to get that contribution? What can we do differently? And 2, why is there such a prejudice against League 2 as opposed to League 1, in your opinion?
To answer the first one, I think it's funny because when League 2 started, everybody was excited. The fantasy draft, it had that feel of League 1. But then, like, when the gameplay and and the gameplay changed. So people don't seem excited as much, especially, like I said, when we're facing this all Madden crippleness, I hate to call it that, but when we're facing that, for people who are 9-0, they're loving it. And it's like high, fast paced, and versus the person who's been dominated, it's not as fun because you felt like you had a chance, but you don't have a chance. You know what I'm saying? You're at that disadvantage. Like me, I have an all-star roster, but I'm getting dominated by players, half of my players rating, which is crazy. So for me, it's not fun. I play the game, but it's not fun. Versus League One, it's a 50-50 chance every time I play the game. You know what I mean? And I think that's the difference. And then, like, with the chat being dead and things of that nature, a lot of owners in League One are in League Two, and they communicate, and they have, like, little, I don't want to say cliques, but everybody's familiar with each other and contact each other already in League One. So they figure all our business could be handled in League One. So maybe if we get a whole bunch of new owners or things like that, I can probably excite, bring more excitement to League Two. Because I talk to Honey Badger all the time, and before we play, I text him like, I send a message to him in the chat, am I going to be videotaped? I want to look good for the camera. We laugh. He posts videos up. I think it's cool. You know what I'm saying? I think that's cool. He's like, the play where he does that crazy Romo run, that's on me. You know what I mean? So to see that is funny, and we laugh about it and things like that. And then all the new owners are excited. It's just the guys who already played in League One jumping over to League Two. It's like they're already happy in League One. Like, we'll just handle all our stuff in League One. That's for the new guys, and that's the new league. They don't, it's not the same.
You know what? That's a damn good point, and I didn't think about that until you said it. I mean, it's obvious, but it's true, and it's a good point that I do notice that even there's a lot of League Two chat in League One, and that's a good point you have right there. So, I mean, obviously, you can't force a guy from League One to chat in League Two, but
right.
Let me ask you this. There's quite a few good new owners.
Right.
W.H. Honey Badger, X-Ray, Victims, just some names that just instantly I can think about off the top of my head. What can we do to get those guys more active? I mean, Honey Badger's already posting videos, but what can we do to get it to where those guys are actually more active in the chat?
Involve them in bigger roles. Put them guys. I feel like put them guys on the trade committee and player reps and things like that. We run it like a real league because they're excited. It's brand new to them, right? And it was brand new to me when I first came. I was like, wow, I never seen this like this. These joint had a site and things like that, and it was amazing. It was new. But then it's like if I'm in both leagues and they're pretty much the same, and majority of all the people in one are in two, except for like 10 people. That's why it's the divide. It's because there's so many people that are in League Two already in League One. Not saying that people in League One shouldn't be in League Two. I'm not saying that. It's just, you know what I mean? It's the divide is. I mean, that's the really, to me, it seems like the divide. We get some newer young guns in there, hungry guys. And League Two will be just as good as League One. It's not better than League One, or League One guys will be like, look, they want in on League Two, So I think that's pretty much the way we can, try to figure out a balance between, guys who want to do League Two and guys who really want to do League One, like Candyman. He reached out to me in a good, long conversation. And he was, he left League Two. And he was like, I'm really just excited about League One. League Two was cool and things like that. And I was like, it's cool. I appreciate you, jumping in the league, because he did that off the strength of me, because he didn't really want to be in League Two. So he's like, I'll do it. Because he won the Super Bowl. And I was like, cool, I appreciate it. And he was a good competitor and things like that. So his team is open. We give it to a new, young, hungry guy, and then, that hopefully brings excitement and things like that. So I think with newer owners, we get to have just as much excitement. And once we find that balance with the sliders and the settings, and it feels like League One, and you get to really use your fantasy team that you waited 3 days and we all broke night to draft on, what I'm saying? Then it becomes exciting. Because right now it feels like, even my team is like, damn, I drafted all these dudes, and they're playing like they're 60s and 70s.
You know what? It's funny you mention that, because when I drafted my team, I felt I had such a strong, solid team, and I felt like, man, the only weakness I had is my wideouts, and it wasn't because they were bad. I just had a bunch of bigger, slower possession-type guys like Plaxico Burress, like Mike Williams. I mean, they're steady guys, but they're explosive game breakers. But overall, I felt like my team was loaded. Now, as soon as I had that first practice, I instantly felt like, I'm in trouble. I couldn't stop nobody to run in practice mode. The computer was kicking my ass. I had to scrap and claw to win a practice mode. And it got to the point where I didn't even want to practice. Then the season started, and one of my first games was against Buffalo. And he's got those 4 wideouts at 95 plus speed. And I got a good secondary. I mean, I got Deshaun Wilson. I got Mark Barron. I mean, 2 of the hardest hitting safeties in the game. I got Terrence Newman, 97 speed. I got Morris Claiborne, 93 speed. So I felt good about it. And I went into that game, I just literally threw streak after streak on me. And it didn't matter. I mean, I was in cover 4 right before the half. And the game was pretty even at that point. And this guy threw a bomb over the top of my cover 4. And I'm like, okay, I got a problem now. And I got handled pretty good from there. And after that, I didn't feel so good about the squad. Now, I still felt like, you know what? I'm not a quitter, and everybody else has to play under the same settings. I'm not being singled out. And I felt like I'm a competitor, and I felt like I just needed to adjust. Now, I'm in first place in the NFC East. I'm 6-3. I feel like I should be 7-2. This is a story. I lost a sim game. Everybody knows how I feel about sim games. Make a long story short, I don't know. I just, like you said, I try to adjust and do the best that I very can. Real quickly, I'm being told that the engineer, Reggie, would like to ask you a question, Gates. So at this time, I'm going to be onto the show to let him ask away. So, Reggie, are you there?
Yep.
Hey, so I'm being told you have a question. I'm not sure if you want to address it to the commissioner or you just have a question in general, but the floor is yours, sir.
My question is, how would you... Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, because there's some leagues out there that have 2 leagues. You have the general league, like number 1 league, and then you have the second league as they're recruiting future owners to come in League 1. Do you think that that work?
Yeah, when we first created League 2, man, we had I still have guys waiting to get in. You know what I'm saying? I had a ton of people I never even met hitting my PSN name and sending me messages. The guy hit me up today, like, I want to get in the league. Is it still available? So there's a ton of new guys who want to get in. But there's a lot of guys from League 1 that are already in. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a first come, first serve. So how do you suggest we do it? Do you
because we
create a third league? Or?
No, because like you look at it, League 1, you have a lot of active players that play their game, and then you have some that don't. So in case you don't, those guys that don't play their game, we could take a player in League 2 to replace those guys.
I'm totally up for it. Now who monitors that though? And then what's the guideline? So what we say, 2 sims and then you're out the league? I'm fine with that.
I would think that would be fair because you got guys like Ty, you, me, that are really active, and then you got guys that don't even bother playing their game. So it's like I would find it fair. So you have a League 1 is your main league. League 2 is it's basically look at in the NBA. You got the big teams, and then you have a farm team.
Almost like the D League.
Yeah. So it's basically League 2 would be like a farm team.
I'm fine for it.
I totally understand where Reggie's coming from. I'm not so sure, and I can't speak for Gates, so Gates, you can speak for me. I'm pretty sure that Gates' vision is to actually grow the league to a point where it's just as good or better than League 1 on its own, as opposed to it kind of being a minor league. I know what you're saying, Reggie, and it's valid and it makes sense, but as the commissioner, I'm pretty sure his goal wasn't to basically develop a minor leagues. He wanted to create a league that could compete with any league out there. So I can't speak for Gates. Gates, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's kind of why he's not trying to go that way with it.
Yeah, I just want 32 active dudes. You know what I'm saying? I just need 32 active, and then if we just gotta weed them out, then that's the perfect way to weed them out. So yeah, the goal is be just as better, just as good as number one. So even better.
So in a nutshell, then, you would not necessarily be content to basically develop a minor league. Then you're trying to make a viable player out there, correct?
Yeah, I want it to be better than the number one, if possible. You know what I mean? I don't look at it as a minor.
Well, I will say this. Something I was thinking about while we was all just talking, and it's something that seems minor, but to me, I think it's a bigger deal than it is. I think something that could really go a long ways toward helping too is regular site maintenance. Now, I'm not saying this to single you out, Gates, because I know you do most of the maintenance. I know how busy you are. But I know for a fact when you first joined League One, the site was maintained on a regular basis. And now it's like it takes an act of God to get a change on the site. You support the site, and the babe of the week is the babe of the year because she's been there since 2012. Stories are old. The thing I think that made League One, and it could be for League Two, stand out was that we had a website that nobody else had. You jump on a bunch of other sites, people got standings and people got stats. That's not what made us different. What made us different is we had a gallery of babes of the week that was fresh and rotated. We had people contributing videos. That stopped. We had people that used to write stories. That stopped. We had people that used to write predictions and point spreads. That stopped. And you jump on a site, not only jump in the chat and to entertain and talk with your buddies, but if you're doing well, you want to see your team up there. You want to see your stories. You want to see those new, fresh things that we have that nobody else has. And I know due to your time constraints, the site is just really, really stale. I mean, it's to a point.
But guys can still do that, though. They don't need me to do those things except for the picture part of it. Other than that, guys can still do that.
Right, but what this is, perhaps in League 2, you may want to look at kind of something similar to what we did in League 1, where you personally, as the commission, delegate somebody that you trust behind the scenes that can get work done on the site to say, hey, I need you to inject some life into the site. I need you to throw some new babes of the week up there. I need you to write some stories. I need you to talk to some of these guys. Talk to Honey Badger. You just talked about giving these guys a bigger role. And I personally, if you League One, when you give guys that bigger role, they take more pride and ownership in what you have, and they become really vested. And that's how you get things rolling. Because you wasn't there, but Reggie knows, and Reggie will tell you, League One was close to shutting down last year. It was that bad. We had owners that had to play 3 and 4 teams in the league because we had a 32-team league, but technically we really only had about 20 owners, and you had guys playing 3 and 4 teams. The site was dead. People were quitting left and right. I mean, it was a mess. And Philly got a few guys. He got me. He got some other guys together that really wanted to see this thing work. We put a lot of time into it, and we started doing these things. And I'm just saying that I think perhaps maybe in League 2, if you got some of these good young gunners you're talking about, like Honey Badger, write a story. Hey, write a story about your game. Shy Tough. When Shy Tough first came to League 1, I remember he was good for that. I know he just had a kid now and his time's limited, but remember Shy Tough used to put up stories about his team? That kind of stuff stopped, and I think that something as simple as that for League 2 can kind of help get us pointed back in the right direction in terms of getting people interested.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Who's going to step up and take that role to do that, though? That's the question.
Well, I mean,
if I can barely get feedback from a person, some people on email, you talk about giving somebody ownership. I have no problem doing that. So, me and you talk, and me and Mike can talk, and we try to do these things. And, I'm willing to do these things, whatever it takes to make League 2 better. Like I say, if not better than 1, but it takes committed guys to do that, man.
Yeah, but you know what? First, there's a big problem. Your problem is guys communicate in League 1 instead of communicating in League 2. That shouldn't be happening because I remember once when guys were doing trades, they were doing trades in League 1 instead of doing it in League 2. Why is that?
Right. I don't know. I mean, I separate the two. Like, if I do a business deal in 2, then I do a deal in 2. You know what I mean? I don't mix the two, honestly.
I know. And
I created a league chat today. Just for NBL 2 on the PlayStation, where we can just do business deals and talk and the updates. I can send out blasts and updates via PS3 while we're all on. I invited a bunch of people out off my friends list, only four of them joined it so far. So we'll see how that goes. So it's like I said, a lot of guys are in one, are in two. And like I said, they already talk in one, and it's easy to communicate. But it really needs to just run on its own. That was my idea, to have it run on its own, just as good as League One, if not better. It's something that can continue from Madden to Madden to Madden and things like that. I haven't been around to update the site personally. Guys can still write their stories. I look forward to the Ty Corner every time, and I used to look forward to Shy's topics every time. But he just had a kid, and I know it's tough for him to do that. And it's funny because the site is open for people to do these things. They just don't utilize these things. And I don't know if it's a communication bridge between them not knowing or them just not taking, the initiative to do these things. I can't answer that.
Well, and both of you guys bring up valid points. Perfect example. I put in the chat to both leagues about 4 hours ago that I was going to do this show with you, and I was going to have you on, and I put the number out, and I invited people to respond and to contribute and to give their opinions, whether they're good or bad. And you was open to that, and you agreed to it. And with the exception of Reggie, who's actually doing the show with us, I've yet to have anybody call in. So it's kind of tough when you extend the olive branch and you try to get guys to contribute and you give guys a forum to do something and no one responds. But then you go in the chat tomorrow and you hear, hey, well, this, that, and the third. It's like, well, you had a chance to speak up, state your claim, and do something for the betterment of the league, and you didn't take it. So it's kind of difficult for me to sit there and listen after the fact about what you suggest or what you think. When you had a chance to be heard, you didn't take it. Now,
right.
in terms of the League One, guys from League One dealing with League Two and League One, that's a tough pill to swallow because it's like running up to school. How do you police that? What do? Do you tell a guy, hey, shut up, you can't say that in here? I mean, you can't really police it. So that's the problem with it. It exists, and you're right, and it's true, but it exists. But see, I think it's a twofold problem because, yeah, we can point at the veteran guys in League One and say, hey, well, it's these guys. Honestly, I think it's the new guys that need to be tapped. Going back to what I was saying about how League One went to the point where it was really bad and we had to breathe life and to do a bunch of new things, Philly didn't know me at the time. Philly had just started to know who Spud was. Philly and Reggie started getting cool. We were the quote-unquote new guys. And he called upon us, and we all were interested in the same thing. We all contributed in different ways. None of the old veterans in the league stepped up, quote-unquote. None of the old veterans in the league helped save the league. It was a bunch of the new guys who said, hey, listen, I like this, and I don't want to see it go away. This is what I think we can do, and this is what I'm prepared to contribute. So I think it's easy to look at the old guys and say, hey, well, it's these guys. No, I think the Honey Badgers of the world, I think the X-Rays of the world, I think the victims of the world, the ill stick-walks of the world, these guys need to step up and make contributions. I think that's where you get the new ideas from. That's where you get the new blood from. All the League One guys are going to do is give you a bunch of the same stuff that's going on in League One. A bunch of old ideas. We need new, fresh stuff. And, yeah, you're right. It's hard. How do you know what guys to pick? You don't. But you got to take a shot. You said you have rapport with Honey Badger. You got to reach out to a guy like that and say, hey, what ideas do you have about this? Hey, what do you think, about this? Hey, you like making videos. Could you do a weekly show where you give out a tip? Could you do a weekly show where you take one of your games and break down the footage? We need something different and new. League One doesn't have that. If you want what League One has, you want to be better, you got to do something different. So you got a guy that likes to record and post his stuff on a regular basis. Maybe you get with that guy and say, hey, would you be interested in taking one of your games per week, breaking it down, and just talking us through the game, what you did good, what you did bad, and it doesn't have to be a league game. It can be any game he wants. It can be an online ranked game. It can be a game against his buddy, a lab session. Hey, can you post that and then commentate and talk on it and break down what you saw, what you didn't see, what you did good? That's the kind of stuff we need, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. I would love to see something like that. But I said, honestly, yeah. I mean, it's because when I first started sending out the email blast and I was doing it regularly, it was like, at the bottom of every email was like, for any suggestions, ideas, comments, things like that, contact me. And if I address that with any topic, it's the same guys who contact me every time. Like I already know once I blast it, I hold my phone and look at it, I did like boom, the same guy hit me, whoop, 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 the same amount of guys. So, you know, like I said, whatever it takes, Ty, Reggie, whoever, I'm willing to do it, man. Let's just talk about it, man. It's hard to do that when I don't communicate with nobody.
Agreed. Now, Reggie, let me ask you this: is the Koofy Smacker on or no?
Yeah, he's on.
Can we bring him onto the show?
What's up, man?
No. Hey, Koof, I know you've called in and you was listening to the show. Have you heard the extent of the conversation so far that we've had about League 2 between myself, Gates, and Reggie?
Yeah, I heard it all.
Okay. I was wondering, and the reason I wanted to bring you on was I wanted another person's take as to everything. I'd like to get your takes on what you've heard the commission league, what can be done to improve League 2, period. What new ideas can we bring? I'd like to get your contributions at this time if you have anything to offer about everything. Because the more opinions we get on this, the better.
Yeah, I have a lot. Just, you know, I mean, anything y'all can use, I'm glad we will to offer. I mean, I feel like this in League 1 as in with League 2. I feel like the the site maintenance or the site updates fell off on both leagues, especially League 2. I mean, I still see videos up there from the beginning of the season, especially days of the week. I mean, we got some diversity, but damn, it's the same day of the week as in League 1.
That's why I said she was a big.
That's a shot at me. I take total responsibility and ownership for that. You know what I'm saying?
If you need some rides, I got plenty of pictures in my phone that I can send you that you can put up there.
Now in defense of that, Koofy, I've done it numerous times in the chat, and you know, and put it on email. I can forward y'all the email. If you have babies of the week that you want to see up there, send them to me. I have never got a picture from nobody.
Hey, by the end of this conversation, you'll have 5 sent to your phone. You got 5 weeks left.
You know what? You got to throw
no.
I'm thinking you heard someone. I'm thinking
Yeah.
Hey.
And then, I think do it like you did it in League 1. I mean, have people write stories or just designate certain people. Because I know in League 1 they used to have like certain people were designated to write a story about a certain game. It wasn't necessarily their game. It was other games. I know Philly asked me a couple times to write stories about such and such games. I mean, I wasn't good at writing, so I declined, but it's just the fact that put it out there. Look, hey, write a review of this game. Write a review of that game. Just designate people, especially the dude, I don't know, I just played one dude, I don't know his name, but he posts videos, but he posts them in chat instead of them on the website.
Yeah, I was like, because he posted my video.
Yeah, I mean, I post videos, but, I mean, people started scouting me, so I fell off of it. But, I mean, I don't really care. But I enjoy making videos. Anybody record the game, feel free to send it to me. I'll edit it for you and add a little extra oomph on it, and I mean we can post it like that. I mean, but there's always stuff that you can add to the league. I mean, extra pictures. I mean, you can go to Google and find anything. I mean, but the way it is, you have to reach out. I mean, sometimes it takes for you to reach out to these owners. I mean, some people won't just jump out there and say, "Hey, I'll do this, do that." Just ask people, "Hey, look, I see you very you in the chat a lot. Help me out with this. Help me out with that." I mean, a lot of these people love the league, you know. I mean, like this. I told y'all from the beginning, I bought a PlayStation just because of this league. I didn't even own a PlayStation.
Right.
Well, the league was so good. Well, League 1 was so good. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna get a PlayStation." And then League 1 and 2. I mean, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, and honestly, what I need, I mean, you did touch some valid points on that. Due to my schedule and time, I'm even willing, you know, I'm looking for even somebody who can help me run the league as far as like a co-commish, and can do these things. Just because of my schedule and the workload I've just been taking on, I haven't had a chance to do that. Now, if it's as far as nobody knows how to update the site, I mean, I can easily do that from my phone, or I can show somebody how to do that. You know, that's just a phone conversation. That's not no problem.
Excuse me there, Gates. I wanted to interrupt you real quick, and I'll get back to him. Sorry about that. I wanted to elaborate on something you just said, because you said the key right there, and I was going to say that. I think the reason why League 1 works so well is because me and Philly joint combined run that league, and we fill gaps, basically. I'm on the West Coast, so I'm behind. He's on the East Coast, so he's ahead. So Philly deals with a lot of the stuff in the morning and earlier part of the day, and I deal with a lot of the stuff in the late end of the day. And what's Philly's weak points are my strong points, and what's my weak points are Philly's strong points. And basically, Philly's a pretty laid-back dude. I'm a pretty aggressive dude. So there's a lot of times, going back to what you just said about getting people to do things, where he'll call upon me and ask me to do certain things because he knows I have to report to folks, or I'm a bulldog and I'll just grind and I'll get it done and I'll get people to get things done. I think what you just said is exactly what it's going to take to start a turnaround. You're a very busy man. You put a lot into the league. You play in both leagues. You play Call of Duty. You go to school. You shoot your your TV show. That's a lot going on for one person to do. I think what you just said is exactly
on top of a personal relationship and all my other business. Like it's so much.
Exactly. You hit it right on the head. But what you don't have is that number two that's like, hey, Gates, don't worry about it. Go do what you got to do. I'll get this done. You need another person that's a dedicated person, that's aggressive, that's a go-getter, and I think you're going to start to see a lot of dividends because a lot of things that slip through the cracks now that there's no time for, this other person's got your back on it. So to get back to what you just said and turn the floor back over to you, I think that's exactly where you need to start. The site maintenance and a strong number two.
Yeah, strong number two, and it can be a team of people. Like, you talked before about 2 weeks back, a player rep, well, I don't like to call it player rep, but an owner's rep. A person where we have these people who make these comments in the chat, take them to that person, like, yo, can you, since they don't seem to want to speak to me directly or feel like it's a divide there where it's not, and say, look, we having constant issues with this. Can you possibly talk to the commissioner? Maybe we get these things solved quickly, things like that. We all conversate over a group call and let's iron these problems out. Co-commission is cool. A team of people is cool. Where League One, it seems like a lot of people give their input versus League Two. It just feels like me by myself, unless I call like you or I text. I talk to Koofy sometimes. I talk, unless I actually reach out to these people individually. It feels like it's just all me. Like it's all me. Everything's on me, and I don't want it to be that way. Nor does I try not to make it feel that way. Even when I make any decision on any issue that comes across my email or phone or things like that. I might have said this is the way it goes, but just know that none of that decision came directly from me. It was a majority of whether I asked 5 people and it came back 3-2, things like that. So.
No, I definitely think we getting some good ideas. Coop, did you have some more ideas, or did we cut you off?
I mean, I still think the idea that was proposed last year that to Reggie or whatever. I think I proposed it to Reggie, but I wasn't sure if the league knew about it. I was basically saying have as many owners as possible, like record your games and send it to me, and I'll edit all of them and put it together for a highlight reel. And I'll send it to Reggie, and Reggie being the computer whiz that he is, he can put that extra off on it, and we can post like a weekly highlight of everybody highlights or something like that. But I mean, that was me talking to Reggie.
That's good. I personally
Hold on. Why is people trying to put work on Reggie?
I mean, because you have that skill.
I got no skills. Gate is a computer genius, not me.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about, what I'm talking about, but either way, I even told Reggie, I was like, if we had to, I would pay his wife to do like storylines on individual owners. I was like, if it comes down to it, hey, I love having a story from Melanie Brown. I'm pretty sure everybody else would too. I mean, so we can get her involved. I mean, I know she's not into
I'm pimping my wife now.
I offered to pay out of my own pocket for her time, being that she's not a player in the league, but she gets involved. So, I mean, why not make her a part of the league?
I will say this, Reggie, and I said this in the beginning of the show. Everybody's quick to jump on the Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Buffalo Sam, and Atlanta Falcon 9-0 bandwagon. You're 9-0 man, and people treat you like you're 0-9. Melanie Brown has never done a League 2 show. I think it's a perfect time to let people know, hey, there's more than 2 undefeated teams here. I'm here too. And I think Brown. I think Melanie Brown will make her debut on League 2 with a nice show to big up Coach Reggie being 9-0. And let him know that, hey, I'm undefeated too, man. I ain't chopped liver.
Well, you know what?
Can I make one comment? You 9-0 or whatever, you undefeated in League 2. Let's see you do that in League 1. That's just I just had to take that shot. I'm sorry.
Okay,
and that's the question. That's the problem right there. So you see that?
Yes.
Where he said that you do it in League 1 versus because he knows the gameplay isn't the same. It's not.
Hold on. Hold on. Gates know I've been plenty times do not switch it. So wait a second. I've told him plenty of times do not change it from all Madden. I'm an advocate for all Madden, and I feel that hey, if you can't play on all Madden, then you relying on the computer. I've called Gates and told him plenty of times. Every time I see him say switch it to all pro, I'm like, no, don't do it. They just can't play on all Madden. You have to get used to the gameplay. It ain't. I mean, you stop relying on the computer. Now,
so what's the difference then? So what's the difference? When you say, let's say you do it in League 1, what's the difference?
When I say do it in League 1, I built it. Look, I took a losing season to build this team. That's what you're not understanding. We just started League 2. I was the Rams. You got to understand? I was the Rams. I built this team. It took a year. I had a losing record. I didn't start winning till the season just happened. So I mean, I'm just building this team in League 2, so it's going to give me a year to get the receivers that I need. I don't have the receivers. My best receiver is Terrell Owens.
All right, hold up, cool. Hold up. Before you guys were talking about the gameplay, I totally disagree with you guys because you said that you have to put your player in position and click off. That's wrong. Because all my game that I played, I don't rely on the computer. You got to do it yourself.
Yeah, if you learn how to time that hit stick, it ain't no problem.
Exactly. So people that complain, all Madden is garbage, blah 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 blah, it's bull. Because if you're letting the computer try to tackle you, then you basically asking the computer to do your work. But if you do it yourself, you'll get the shit done.
Okay,
so,
now,
hold
on a second now. Now, I'm going to totally disagree with you. You're wrong. That mindset you have for All-Pro. All-Pro, that's what All-Pro, the more you do and the less the computer does, the better. You have to understand where me and Gates are coming from. We're not saying don't do anything yourself. All me and him are talking about is tackling, making open field tackles, and tackling ball carriers. We're not saying let the computer get picks for you. We're not saying let the computer do the work. I'm telling you, if you're at 25% on the slider, which we are, and the computer's at 75, and you're me and Felix Jones in the hole, you're going to lose 10 times out of 10. All we're saying is, listen, to eliminate some of these broken tackles and give you a better chance at making plays, don't try to make all of the user plays tackling-wise yourself. You look up any YouTube tutorial or any YouTube video, Google it tonight after we get off about All Madden, and any of the top commentators in the community is going to tell you the same thing. You have to click off. You can't sit there and use it the way you do on All Pro because you're at a 50% disadvantage.
Right. That's why the Virgin Gaming thing is on All Pro. It's on All Pro.
Well, me personally, I agree with both of y'all. I mean, by me just looking at the stats, we're not even halfway through, and we already got 4 running backs that's almost at 1,500 yards.
Exactly.
But I mean, on the same sense, I have that problem in practice, but when it comes to the game, I don't really have that problem because I'm used to hit sticking already.
And you know why? You know why is that cool?
Practice mode, they fall off of everything. But it seems like when I get in the game, it doesn't happen that way.
Right. You know why?
Well, hold up.
Because when you cut the corner, say for example, Reggie throws a pitch or halfback toss, and he uses his running back, and you use that defensive end. It becomes 25. The product becomes 25-25. It's a 50-50 chance. If Reggie takes that toss and you let that linebacker get it, I guarantee Reggie will never break that tackle. I'm willing to put money on that. Because it then becomes the computer tackle instead of 25, your break tackle instead of 25. How do you win that? How do you win that battle?
Okay. I hear what you're saying. So I mean, it basically comes down to numbers, mathematics. you can't win. But how do you fix that? Are you saying you want an all-pro?
No, I figure we have to boost the sliders. I mean, either we keep it the way it is, everybody man up, or we adjust the sliders, keep it all that, we just adjust the sliders.
Keep it the way it is.
But it seems like, this is the problem that I have. It seems like you're trying to tailor the game to make people better than what they are. It seems like you're trying to change it. Okay, well, you can't tackle or this and that, so let me adjust the slider so you can tackle a lot easier.
When I say adjust the slider, it's to give you a chance as a user. When you click on this player, like, for example, if you throw a pass, like, we all know how to stop a fade route or a tight end streak. Let's just say we just got a man up on a guy and you run with the guy. And when you throw that ball, your defensive reaction time is set when you're that user at 25% of the computer's AI versus all was set at 50. That's a 50-50 chance that you have to fix the interception. Versus on Madden, you're already 25 points down. You're basically 3 seconds to 2 seconds behind reaction time.
Well, okay, then you got to realize that there's two different type of players in the secondary. There's people that love the ball hawk, and there's people that love the user catch. I'm one of the people that hates the ball hawk and that's added to the game, but I love the user catch. I say about 90% of my interceptions, I try to user catch myself. And I feel a lot of people in the league rely on that ball hawk because they can't catch, or they don't know how to user catch. And when you change that, you bring back the ball hawk, and it's basically letting these people that won't go practice how to use it be able to let the computer do it for them.
Basically, I'm gonna say based on how I've been playing lately, I use a catch everything. Now it's like I really don't like if I click on this guy, it's like you don't have a ball up. It's like I'm gonna let the computer get in position. I'll wait till the last minute, then I click and make the user. Because if I do it early, like I normally do it all pro, I know I'm getting beat. I know I'm getting beat. Like I played Candyman, he killed me with Joe Webb, dominated me with Joe Webb. We laughed because we called each other. He was like, "Yo, I felt like Joe Webb was Aaron Rodgers." We cracked up because I couldn't stop Joe Webb. His deep ball accuracy, 70, 60, 70. He's throwing like 20, 30 yard passes and 10-point accuracy. How do you explain that? You saying because I'm a bad user? Nah, no way.
I'm glad you got that up, Gates, because we're closing in on an hour, so I don't want to run too much more because I don't want guys to complain that the show's too long to listen to. But I'll ask all of you guys, the commissioner, Kofi, but especially Reggie, out of any one of us here, what do you say to all the people that have all these issues and complaints for League 2? What do you say about why Reggie is 9-0? Why is Jeff 9-0? Why is Buffalo Sam 9-0? The point I'm trying to make is, why is it that some people have been able to thrive and play well in that system with those settings and in that rules, and other people can't? I guess is the question I'm trying to ask. So what do you think of those people, the success stories in the league?
Okay, let me give my opinion for y'all. Now, with the exception of Reggie, the people that are undefeated, I've played them. Buffalo Sam, I played him in League 1 and played him in League 2. Now, he beat me in League... I just feel that he had a great draft. He had a great team. It's not necessarily that it has anything to do with the gameplay. He just has a great team, and that's why he's 9-0. He's a good player. There's some people that's undefeated that I feel are just overrated. They just played some bombs. But, they was, I ain't taking no shots because I ain't saying no names. But, hey, if you feel that you ain't played nobody.
I missed that smacker segment of the show, you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
it's funny to hear you know what I mean?
Hey, it wouldn't be as Kofi
I died it down because Ty asked me to die it down, so I don't really talk as much trash as I was.
They call him Kofi Smacker for a reason.
No, I missed this part of the show. So I want to hear the 9-0 Reggie because he obviously figured it out. So, like I said, we have the man up or we adjust it. I'm cool with either way.
Maybe it's
all right, hold on. All right, hold up. All right, I got two things to say. A little birds told me that the commish Mark Gates is afraid of playing Officer Reggie. Is that true?
No, Reggie. Now, me and you played. Well, we had 2 scheduled games, and I couldn't make them due to my schedule. But the community set up anytime.
Hold up, God, again, that's what was brought to me. You were playing Call of Duty, and they said, "Yo, how come you're not playing Reggie?" It's like, "Nah, man, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to play him yet."
Never.
I don't know, man.
Never have I said I'm not ready. Never.
Wait a minute, because I was in this chat, and so was Top Watcher. Hey, listen, I don't want to be the bearing back. That was said when I was in the gym with Doc.
Hey.
They said, they said, Reggie's online. Why you not playing?
We're gonna do this.
I'm not ready to play.
For the answer to this, I'm gonna see both of y'all, and I'm gonna see both of y'all in both leagues due to my schedule. So there will be no running, no nothing. So and if we can always take it offline, and I set the community up, we can always play there. You know, I ain't never scared. So let's address that. Reggie, you got a nice little squad and all that, but I ain't scared.
You see me twice. You got to see me twice. You gonna get that work when you play me.
Well, yo, Gate, man, it's cool, man. I ain't that good, man, but I'm telling you, I like that when people are afraid of me, though. You know what I'm saying? It's a compliment.
I understand.
I'm just playing.
Nah, I totally understand. I didn't play you twice, and I can see where it looked like I ran, but we got jokes. I'm cool with it. I love the trash talk. I love it.
All I'm saying is, we was in the Call of Duty room, and both of y'all was online, and it was just said, "Hey, I'm not ready to play. I'm gonna need a day. I'll play on tomorrow." That's what I heard in the chat. I mean, I just heard it now. Being that I said that, and I heard your comment, you gotta play me twice a year to think about your next couple words, because they have taken the cap off scoring. Because you are not above getting put 70 points to 100 on.
Hey, man. It has yet to been done on me. It has been yet to been done.
And you have yet to play against the Smacker in Megatron.
Hey, I look forward. Make sure you record. Hey, I played against Megatron.
Hey, you played against Megatron in
Hold up. That's League 1. We're in League 2 here. When we're talking about League 2.
Listen, it all comes together. We all associated with 1 and 2. And I don't play them in League 2, so I'm going to talk to them about League 1.
It's not the same. It's not the same, man. League 2 and League 1 is not the same.
I'll play you in League 2.
After the radio show is over, I'll call you and I'll still talk my shit on the phone.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. And I'm around, man. And it's funny because I talk to you guys, you 3 guys, all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, it's nothing. It's nothing. I'm always around.
Hey, can I make a comment about League 1, just if y'all don't mind? Let me ask the host, Ty.
Well, I mean, it was a great show. It was a great segment.
I need this to be on the air, though. I need this to be on the air.
It's going to be on the air. I just need Reggie I need Reggie to answer the question so we can get this wrapped up about how is he able to survive at 9-0 in a league with all of these quote-unquote factors against you. Instead of calling out Gate, I need that man to answer the question.
All right, you know what? What I do, I just simplify the game. I got a quarterback that's not that great. I simplify it. I don't go deep. I just short throws. I run first, and then everything opens up. If you can't stop the run, then I'll run all day. Perfect example, the game that I played with Fagra. It was a perfect game. Back and forth, a lot of, I know we were holding back because we were in League 1, but we were back and forth, good defense. And look, the score was not crazy. So you just simplify the game and you'll do good.
Okay. Well, at this time, does anybody have any parting comments? Because we're at about an hour and 10 minutes. So, do you have any closing comments?
Yeah, you know I do. I always got something to say. And I'm just talking my stuff. This is the last time you probably will hear me talking my trash because the season about to start, and I don't want to be the target of the league. Or I don't actually mind being the target of the league. but I just have a problem with people taking shots. People of no substance that haven't done anything in the league taking shots at me. But I just want to say this. I announced in the beginning of this year that I was coming from Denver to Washington. And the commissioner of League One said he didn't see my comment. But I was informed that he talked to Gates, and that was one of his selling points to Gates, was that Kofi was coming to the NFC East and that he wasn't running from me. So, okay, he wasn't running from me. He said he was going to the NFC South to play against Spud. That was his rival. But come to find out, Spud was going to the AFC. So I don't know what it looked like in y'all eyes, but it damn sure looked like he ran to the South because he didn't want to play twice a year. With that being said, Gates, you will get that work twice a year in place of Philly.
Okay. Mr. Engineer Reggie, do you have any closing comments?
The only thing I want to say is after the show, I would like to talk to Gates and you about an upcoming project.
Okay. Commissioner Mark Gates of League Two. Any closing comments? And
I gotta address the Kofi comment. Mike did call me, and he said that that you didn't let him know that he was moving to Redskins, blah blah blah. And he did ask me how did I feel about moving to the East so he could play Spud twice. Spud at the time wasn't moving. So when Spud reached out to me and said, "Yo, I heard you moving to the NFC East. Is that true?" I told him, "Yeah." That's when he reached out to Jimmy and made the deal. And I have an opportunity to go to the NFC South, and I just have an opportunity now possibly to go to the NFC West to go see Candyman twice. So, don't think nobody's running, because nobody's running. Reggie called me about the project. Since it's NBL 2 show, I want to shout out a couple owners, the Honey Badgers, the X-Rays, Shy Tough, Reggie, all them, the undefeated squad. Hit me up, man. We either man up and deal with it, or we make some changes. I just need the feedback. Anything else, man, I'm around, man. Hit my phone, hit my email, text me, call me. It don't matter.
One thing, can you post the Honey Badger video on the website instead of letting him post it just in the chat?
Yeah.
Let him feel like he's doing something. I mean, because
I can do that.
Me personally, I know how long it takes to edit a video, and I've seen him do it, and he does it fast. I mean, it's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah.
So just give him that. Just let him put it on the website rather than just leave it in the chat.
Yeah, I even show him I contact him and show him how he can just copy and paste it every time and just put it up there, and he has no problem.
No,
all right.
Gates, just stay on the line, and I'll talk to you after the show.
Okay.
All right, so at this time, NBO Nation, hope you guys got a lot of answers, questions about League Two settings and the way things are. I'd like to thank the Commissioner Mark Gates for jumping on. I'd like to thank the Kofi Smacker for his contributions. I'd like to thank Reggie for putting the show together and his contributions. We are out. Look forward to having a good rest of the second season. A good rest of the season in League Two. Hopefully, a bunch of ideas that we churned up, we can put in play. And if you guys listening to the show have anything you want to contribute in terms of somebody wants to step up to assist Gates in any type of way, or you have some ideas that we can do to make things better, please feel free to hit us up via email or in the chat. Thank everybody for the show, and Coach Ty is out.